Hi everybody, welcome to the Qualcomm Institute Makerspace, and this is the wood shop. My name is Brian Flagg, and I'm going to go over how to use the table saw for the first time. You'll be working with a staff member when you use the saw, but this will give you an idea of what you'll be doing. So the table saw is primarily used for making rip cuts, and that means taking off a long strip of wood from a larger piece of wood. It can also be used for making cross cuts, angled cuts, and a lot of other wood cutting activities. However, primarily it's used for making rip cuts. The two concepts that we want to go over with you to keep in mind when you're using the table saw is keeping your fingers away from the blade and keeping the wood straight as you push it through the table saw so you have a straight cut. If the wood moves at an angle through the saw, it can be very dangerous. To get ready for your cut, first thing you need to do is set the blade height. And you want to come up about 3/8 to 1/2 inch above the piece of wood. Then, using the fence and the ruler on the saw stop table saw, you can set the measurement for your cut. Here I'm going to set it to an 8-inch cut. Okay? I lift the red handle and then I lock it down in the place where I want it to be. Okay? Now, I prepare myself to cut the wood. My left hand is gently resting on top of the table, and my thumb is over the piece of wood. This secures the piece of wood against the fence in the front and down so that when it strikes the blade, it doesn't pop up. And then my right hand is behind the piece of wood, and that's pushing forward only. Not down, not up, but forward. So when you're getting ready to make your cut, first, you turn on the dust collection system. Okay. Then you want to have a staff member log you into the FabMan system to activate the machine. And now we're ready to cut. The two main concepts that you want to keep in mind, keeping your hand away from the blade and making sure the wood is moving straight through the blade. I'm going to pull the red paddle to turn on the machine. Make sure the blade comes to a complete stop before you retrieve any of the wood off the table. Notice that when I was pushing the wood through the saw blade, I didn't stop pushing until the wood was completely past the edge of the saw blade. That's to prevent the wood from binding and having something dangerous happen if it goes sideways. Notice that I also used the push stick at the end of the cut. This is so my hand was far away from the blade and I could push the wood through the saw safely and comfortably. Thank you for watching our introduction to the table saw. If you'd like help on your project, please see a staff member and they'll get you set up on the table saw for your first cut.